Hi, welcome to another Flashback Friday. The film we've been featuring this week on Wayne's Movie Club is Monty Python and the Holy Grail. So I thought it was only right that we could make today's Flashback Friday all about Monty Python's Spamalot, which was a big Broadway hit in 2005, running more than 1,500 performances, and which we got to perform in 2013 as part of our All British season. All British indeed. This, of course, begins with that British comedy troupe, Monty Python's Flying Circus. This was a collection of 6 unique individuals who got together in 1969 and created something unique for just a little while. But we still treasure it and enjoy it today. It was these 6 members. John Cleese and Graham Chapman were classmates at Cambridge, where they performed together in the Cambridge Review. Eric Idle was also at Cambridge, but he was a class behind them. Terry Jones and Michael Palin were over at Oxford, where they wrote together and performed together. And Terry Gilliam was an American animator whom John Cleese met when their performance troupe went over to New York City for a visit. The BBC in 1969 got all of these talented men together to create a sketch comedy show, which they called Monty Python's Flying Circus. It ran for 3 seasons on the BBC, 13 episodes each. But at that point, John Cleese got bored with it, and he left the group. The remaining 5 men did 6 more episodes, so there are a total of 45 episodes of Monty Python's Flying Circus. But then those 5 men decided it wasn't worth going on. The chemistry wasn't quite the same. But in 1972, America got its first glimpse of the Pythons when a film called And Now for Something Completely Different was shown in the US. This was just a collection of sketches from seasons 1 and 2 of Monty Python's Flying Circus. And it didn't get a lot of attention, but it generated enough box office that all of the TV episodes could be converted from the British format, PAL, to the American format, NTSC. With that having been done, American PBS stations could afford to show it in the US. And so they gave it a chance, Monty Python's Flying Circus, and the ratings just took off in the US. The Pythons became so popular that they decided they'd get back together and make a feature film. And that was Monty Python and the Holy Grail. It came out in 1978. It had a very meager budget, only $400,000. And that was culled together from different rock groups who liked the Pythons. Jethro Tull and Pink Floyd and Led Zeppelin all kicked in some money. And the Pythons went to Scotland to film this medieval adventure. And it does have some songs and dances. And it was very well received. You will find it on most lists of the top 50 motion picture comedies of all time. The Pythons split up once again after they made some films together, but they remained friendly and they would get together for reunion concerts at the Hollywood Bowl and different events. Graham Chapman died in 1989, and Terry Jones just died this last January. But in 2005, Eric Idle decided that he wanted to see if they could do Monty Python and the Holy Grail on stage. He got his friend, the director Mike Nichols, to work with him so that they could give it just a little bit more of a story than it had as a film. And the story they came up with was a bunch of British knights have an adventure, and it's so good they decide they want to take it to Broadway. Well, that was just enough of a story. The Pythons were also kind of famous for not writing very many roles for women, except for bizarre older women, roles that they themselves played in drag. But for the stage musical, they expanded the role of the Lady of the Lake, and the woman who created the role, Sara Ramirez, won the Tony Award for Best Featured Actress. Spamalot the Musical won the Tony Award for Best Musical, and we were very excited to present it in 2013. We were very lucky that the sets and costumes from Broadway had been purchased by our friends at Musical Theater West in Long Beach, and we rented them from them. And Billy Sprague Jr. had been a terrific member of our young company when he was in college, but now he was the man who was putting together SPAMALOT companies across the country. And he was available to put ours together, and we had a great time with him. He brought along a terrific assistant, Carol Bentley, and they put the show together quite lovingly based on the original staging by Mike Nichols and Casey Nicholaw. For our King Arthur, we have Bruce Wynant, who has played Tevye in Fiddler on the Roof and many other great roles for us. And as his henchman, Patsy, we had Brad Bradley, who had played the role on Broadway. For the Lady of the Lake, we had auditions all over the place and found a wonderful young woman in New York. Turns out she's from Kansas City. Quite wonderful, Jenny Greenberry. This was her debut with us. And for the other men's roles, we were able to accumulate a great bunch of guys who always make us laugh. Larry Rabin, Damon Kirsch, Timothy Robb, Monty Regal Wheeler, Skylar Adams, and a terrific company of singers and dancers. Thomas W. Douglas did the musical direction, and I hope you enjoy, if you will click on the YouTube link, some highlights from Music Theater Wichita presenting Monty Python's SPAMALOT.